From the FBI taking over Washington to congressmen confirming the presence of aliens, we're going to talk about all of it in this video. And I just want to start things off with a clip from DC that has been going viral.
You got your ID on you, chick?
Well, no, I live right here.
Okay, cool.
It's a cigarette. Did y'all get a call or something about right here?
No, so we're doing checks, keeping everybody safe down here, right? Have you heard of the federal surge that Donald Trump's putting out?
No.
Right. You don't follow like
No.
Code 3, anything like that people are putting up? What's up? All right, so yeah, Trump's got all federal agencies kind of coming together for 7 days and going out, trying to stop the violent crime, all kind of stuff. So we're out here contacting people, talking to them, right? Quality of life offenses, smoking, drinking in public, right? Can't happen outside, right? Most people know that. Right? So we're contacting people, trying to advise them of the law so they learn, right? And then if there's other stuff going on where it turns into, there's multiple agencies of somebody, there's shootings and things like that. So there's extra hands available, right? So we're just out here trying to inform people and educate people. It's not like we're trying to just go grab people and ruin someone's life over a joint or something like that, all right?
Now, first of all, let's give props to this officer because he is really professional and he did his best to explain what kind of activities can land people in jail. However, there is just so much in this clip that I expect to see in a country like China, certainly not in the US. I mean, just imagine you're sitting on your front lawn having a beer with someone and suddenly the damn FBI shows up, asks for your ID and takes you in for public drinking. I thought the conservatives hated that kind of society. And even before we get to the whole concept of checking people's IDs without any reason, I just don't understand how the people are so happy to see the FBI and the DEA roaming around DC. I mean, did we just forget what kind of allegations President Trump himself and people in his inner circle have thrown at the FBI and former director James Comey?
It's not a mistake when you have the FISA court itself come forward and say the FBI under Chris Wray unlawfully searched domestically against Americans over 300,000 times, 24,000 times involving January 6th, 19,000 times involving donors for a congressional candidate.
Watch the way he lies. It's the most incredible thing. Do you remember John Lovitz? Do you remember? The liar. Well, Comey's worse. Comey's a liar and a leaker. You know, I did you a great favor when I fired this guy.
And now we're just cool with the same FBI taking over our federal capital. How does that make any sense? Look, if they are doing this to reduce crime, I can understand, but I can't be the only one who thinks that we are quickly turning into a surveillance state. I mean, how long before those X-ray vans start roaming the streets of DC? And if you're wondering what I mean by X-ray vans, let me explain. There are vans driving around your city right now that can literally see through your walls and no one told you. They're called backscatter vans, and yes, they're real. These unmarked police vehicles are equipped with mobile X-ray scanners that can see through buildings, car doors, and even into your home from the street. You won't hear them, you won't know they're there, and they don't need a warrant. This isn't science fiction. These vans have been used in major cities like New York, Miami, and Los Angeles. The technology was originally designed for the military to detect explosives overseas. Now it's being used here on civilians with almost zero oversight. The vans fire bursts of ionizing radiation, the same kind used in TSA body scanners. But this radiation is mobile, more focused, and aimed straight through solid objects. No law requires police to inform the public. No study confirms it's safe. And there's no limit on who or what they scan. Privacy groups have warned for years this is warrantless surveillance on wheels. Your car, your home, your body, all exposed to invisible scans without your consent. And if it's already here, what's coming next? So you tell me, are you on board with the FBI knocking on your door to check your ID before telling you that you cannot drink in front of your own front door? But things get even more complicated. The president also made this announcement just yesterday.
Your your federalization of the police has a 30-day limit unless Congress acts to extend it. Are you talking to Congress about extending it, or do you believe 30 days is sufficient?
Well, if it's a national emergency, we can do it without Congress, but we expect to be to Congress before Congress very quickly. And again, we think the Democrats will not do anything to stop crime, but we think the Republicans will do it almost unanimously. So we're going to need a crime bill that we're going to be putting in, and it's going to pertain initially to D.C.
So people in D.C. are likely to see soldiers and federal agents in their city for a long time now. And did you notice how the president said they're going to do this initially in D.C.? Well, that's directly related to what he said earlier.
We have other cities that are very bad. New York has a problem. And then you have, of course, Baltimore and Oakland. We don't even mention that anymore. They're so far gone. We're not going to let it happen. We're not going to lose our cities over this. And this will go further. We're starting very strongly with D.C., and we're going to clean it up real quick.
Now, as far as taking over other cities, the media will tell you that he legally cannot do that because the Constitution gives states a certain amount of autonomy. However, that's not entirely true. The president can take over the National Guard if there's a commerce issue or a foreign policy issue that is national in scope. So let me give you an example of how the police and the National Guard in New York can be taken over by the president. Just imagine the president gets the country involved in a war, and people start protesting in extremely large numbers and shut down businesses in a place like NYC. In that situation, the president can not only take over the city, but also flood it with federal agents who can arrest you for some of the dumbest reasons possible. And that's not fear-mongering. If you've been keeping your eyes open, you would know it could happen very easily. You know, this reminds me of what we're starting to see in places like the UK, where the police are actively trying to send people to jail for even the most minor offenses.
For people to recognize that it's not right, it's not just a small act, it's a thing that can make someone feel really quite uncomfortable. So I think it's important, police are taking it so serious. It's one of our force priorities.
No, you want to arrest?
I don't know about you, but I certainly don't want to see that kind of crap in our cities. Another thing I don't want to see is propaganda about UAPs, and certainly not from a congresswoman.
So I was in a skiff, and I can't discuss all that was in a skiff, but what I can tell you is based on the photos that I've seen, I'm very confident that there's things out there that have not been created by mankind.
Yeah, that's Anna Paulina Luna, who is a member of the House Oversight Committee and who proudly declared that she was going to release files about everything. Now she's saying she saw some out-of-the-world stuff in a skiff, which is basically any building established to process sensitive information. Of course, she was dealing with some kind of agency in that skiff, so why doesn't she just lobby to subpoena the director of that agency as a member of the Oversight Committee? Well, let me tell you why. In the last few months, she's been happily distracting us with tweets about alien objects and other such nonsense.
But I was actually able to ask some of the witnesses, what are these things? And they keep saying interdimensional. And then when you talk about the interdimensional aspect of, are these things pre-existing, maybe outside of what we currently know as our own dimension?
Even in this interview, she talked about all kinds of shit. But you know what she didn't even mention once? Epstein. And that's exactly why I do not trust people like her anymore, since they clearly have no thoughts of their own and just go with the wind. So even if you are interested in UFOs, don't trust a word she says because you don't understand her connection to the army. You see, her paternal grandfather was fighting for the Germans in World War II, while her maternal grandfather was fighting for the U.S. Army. She also served on the only base in the US that operates the highly secretive B-2 stealth bombers. The base has also been linked to UFOs and secretive technology. And we also know that the Pentagon has been using the whole UFO drama for decades to hide its own shady operations. This is breaking news. A bombshell Pentagon admission is turning the entire UFO debate upside down. According to a new investigation, the US military deliberately spread UFO lies for decades, not to cover up aliens, but to hide secret weapons programs. Yeah, that flying saucer you heard about? It was probably an early prototype of the F-117 stealth fighter. This was a full-blown disinformation campaign. They planted rumors near Area 51. They doctored photos. They wanted the public to believe it was aliens because that was less dangerous than revealing what they were really building during the Cold War. But here's where it gets even darker. Inside the Pentagon, there was a secret hazing ritual called Yankee Blue. New commanders were shown fake alien aircraft and told if they ever revealed the truth, they'd be executed. This wasn't just to fool the public, it was to keep their own people in the dark. So as far as I know, she could very well be spouting some kind of Pentagon propaganda to distract us from what's really going on. For instance, a lot of people haven't even heard what's going on in Tennessee.
Well, 6 million people across Tennessee and parts of South Carolina and Kentucky, they're under flood watches today after a severe storm slammed Chattanooga just overnight. 3 people were killed when a tree fell on their car.
I'm telling you, this disastrous weather assault is not gonna stop because no politician even wants to acknowledge that something strange is going on. They also will not acknowledge that what happened in Texas was extremely dangerous.
County, this afternoon we're live over a massive train derailment in Gordon. More than a dozen cars are piled up on the tracks right now, with even more tipped over on the railway.
You know, they're once again burning chemicals, and according to them, it's just propane, so it's not dangerous. Well, they said the exact same thing during the East Palestine disaster.
I'll tell you, we believe in science, so we don't feel like we're being your guinea pig. But we don't mind proving to you that we believe the waters.
Okay.
Here's to Caroline.
I appreciate that.
Here's to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Awesome.
Unfortunately, now we know that they were lying, and a lot of the locals could get cancer from that very toxic smoke in the next few years. And that's gonna do it for today, folks. I am really looking forward to seeing what you guys think about the National Guard and the FBI policing multiple cities. Do you think it's necessary, or are we just pushing America one step closer towards a tyrannical government? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments down below. As always, thank you for taking the time to watch today's video, and I hope to catch you in the next one.